What's up? Oh. Okay. What's up, world? My name is Sam Morris, and I am a solutions architect at GitLab. I work in a technical pre-sales position, which means that I'm a technical resource all throughout the sales lifecycle for a software product. Hopefully I didn't lose y'all and you're not completely bored. Hopefully you're here because you're interested in getting into technical pre-sales, kind of a little more about what my job is, also what my background was and kind of how I got into this position in the first place, as well as some tips and tricks for you as you kind of enter into your journey of figuring out if technical pre-sales is the right field for you. First off, what is technical pre-sales? What is a solutions architect, sales engineer, or solutions engineer? So essentially all of these roles are typically the same thing. They all have a couple different names. So sales engineer, solutions architect, etc. You're essentially the right-hand person of an account executive or some type of sales person. So if you're salespeople who own deals, so if there's a new prospect or new logo that's evaluating your tool to buy for their purposes, or a current customer that it might want to up tier in the software or buy an add-on to access new features, those aspects of the sale are owned by the account executive, and you in technical pre-sales are the technical resource. You're often seen as a subject matter expert specifically in your product or maybe some facet of your product if it's quite expansive. So you're someone who has the people skills to be able to navigate a lot of different personalities, the communication skills to talk to all different roles and folks with different responsibilities across many different organizations, not necessarily even just tech organizations, but that's the space that I work in and I can speak to. And you also have the technical know-how and prowess to understand how your product works, and also what is it solving for, and how can the product's capabilities and features map to the solutions of the problems of your customers. Seems like a mouthful. It probably is. It's quite a broad role. Again, you kind of just own the technical aspects of your product and selling it. There's lots of different things that a sales engineer can do, whether it's going on site to meet with customers, do demonstrations, do proof of concept trials to make sure that the customers know how to use your software and are actually getting some value out of it. You could be doing more technical evangelism, so writing blogs and resources for folks outside of your organization and internally to get trained up on your product. There's all kinds of different things you can be doing every day as a sales engineer. So answering some more specific questions, what do I do at GitLab? I am a solutions architect, which is quite a fancy name. I do not have all the solutions, nor do I know anything about architecture of buildings. What a solutions architect is in my eyes is a technical resource all throughout the sales lifecycle. So I specifically help with the GitLab product. I essentially do all of those activities that I mentioned prior. I do demos, I do proof of concept, I run like the trials for the 30 days or sometimes usually more than 30 days with customers, 30 to 60 days where they try out our different features and such. I also work in like a post-sale capacity, always looking for expansion and up-tier opportunities. Basically, if there's new money, I am involved in the account still. So how did I get into the sales engineering space? This is quite an interesting journey. Every journey is very unique as well. One thing about sales engineering that I think is super cool is no one really has the same background here. It's not a linear path. I studied computer science at the University of Central Florida, go Knights, and I enjoyed computer science. I thought that my only job I could do after college was becoming a software engineer and coding. So I learned programming in college, and I learned way more about programming and how to program decently well when I entered into the workforce. So my first job out of college was working at Amazon. I was a software engineer, and it was hard. It was very difficult going from an academic, theoretical environment where you're just trying to stay on top of your classwork and, coding in a way that's not even just the coding part, but kind of the scalability of services, good coding practices, design patterns and principles. None of that was taught to me in school. I don't think it typically is ever taught to folks in college. So I had to learn that at my internship and then at my full-time job. My time at Amazon was super helpful, again, to learn how to be a software developer, but also to have some learned empathy as well. I think it's way easier for me to talk to my customers who are developers because I can speak their language. I've been in their shoes before. I understand the day in the life very well, and I know what a lot of my problems were when I was a software developer. So I'm able to speak really candidly to the folks that ultimately I am selling to. After Amazon, I worked as a software quality engineer, which had really no coding required involved in that. There was a lot of reviewing of merge requests, change requests type of things, making sure that the software changes were compliant, making sure things were tested. Extremely manual and repeated work. And when I hear manual and repeated work, I hear scripting. Let's make it faster. Let's write it once and do it a million times the same way. Take out the human intervention to reduce potential errors and also reduce the time spent so that I can go home and do what I want to do, which is play Fortnite and hang out with my friends. So that's what I did. I scripted a lot of stuff, and I ended up using GitLab, which is where I work now, to run my scripts in scheduled pipelines and whatnot. So I essentially took the solution and solutionized for my organization with the product that I use every day and sell today. After that, I joined GitLab and I worked in post-sales. I worked as a technical account manager, which got renamed to customer success manager. I long-term saw a different career path for myself because I saw what solutions architects did at GitLab and wanted to do that. Would you recommend sales engineering? Yes, I would. And I'm not just saying that because I work in it right now. I think that it depends on who you are, but a lot of people would probably really like this role. I don't think a lot of people know that it exists, or if you're watching this, maybe you know it exists and it just seems so far away, whether you're in school or you're like a totally different field. I do recommend it. I have some caveats though. I do think you should have a decent technical background before getting into a sales engineering position for a highly technical product, which most software companies are going to be quite complex. The product that I work with right now is so expansive and vast. You really can't know everything about it, and I would never claim to know really much at all. I feel like there's like an iceberg of GitLab, and I'm just like in the first couple of stages of the iceberg. GitLab iceberg, that's what it is. So I definitely don't know everything. But I do think you need to have some kind of technical acumen or training, able to not only think like your customers, but also think about how certain elements of the product you're selling can abstract away from the product itself and be a solution to common, repeatable problems. How to get into it. Like I said, there's no linear path into this role. I do recommend a couple of different routes. I think I like selling GitLab because I like the product. So find a product that you actually really enjoy using, especially if you're coming from a different space. This applies more to folks that already have a career established, but if you already have a different job and you're using some type of SaaS product there, really try to get into how it works. Maybe try to build something with that product, like if you use Slack a lot, and you love Slack or whatnot, make a Slack bot. Doing things that are kind of like side projects with the product that you're interested in allows you to get to know kind of the technical details of it, and also have something to talk about in like an interview capacity of, hey, I used the product and I actually leveraged it to solve XYZ solution at my job, or I built something off of it that I used at my job to do this, which had this result, right? So there's kind of a formula there that you can follow. And again, you want to land on a product that you like. I would not enjoy selling every type of software as much as I do with DevOps software. If you're an undergrad, that's a very different story. I'd never heard of sales engineering in my undergrad. So props to you for finding out that there's other careers you can have in tech that aren't strictly software development. I didn't know about sales engineering undergrad, but I do, when I think back on it, remember that we had a Society of Sales Engineers organization at my school, so that might be something that is offered at your college campus. I would definitely look into, clubs and organizations where you can learn more about this field without having to have work experience in it. I've also heard of associate programs and rotational programs that kind of touch on the sales engineering, technical pre-sales space. So that might be something to look into as well. It's not necessarily just for already tenured professionals. Love to see more young faces kind of getting into technical pre-sales. I think it's a super cool space to be in, especially if you enjoy presenting. Like I said, you might be a little bit competitive, you love learning. That's probably the biggest aspect of it that I enjoy, is I get to learn every day. Part of my job is knowing things and figuring out how to know stuff that I don't know. That's so cool. It's really an awesome thing to do, especially when you're kind of young in your career, is being able to just learn all the time and learn a lot of different use cases for your product, types of problems that it solves for, how to kind of derive those pain points in conversations, and what your solution can look like for a customer. I recommend honing your communication skills quite a bit. I mean, you kind of do this in school anyway, but for me, I actually minored in technical writing, so I got very good at writing documents, and oh my gosh, I write a lot. I'm constantly emailing people, explaining technical concepts in a more layman's term type of way, or to a technical audience, but in a clear and concise format. So I'd highly recommend even taking a technical writing class. I hope y'all enjoyed this brief video. Well, hopefully it's brief. I guess I'll see when I throw it into iMovie. But I hope y'all enjoy this quick overview of my career, my journey into technical pre-sales, sales engineering, being a solutions architect, and some tips and tricks as well for those who are interested in the field. It's a very lucrative space to be in. There's so many SaaS companies out there, and they all need solutions architects, solutions engineers, sales engineers. They all need technical pre-sales professionals. I'm hoping to make more video content about this now that I am kind of more firmly planted into the sales engineering space. I'm really excited to, create some more video content for y'all, and let me know if you have any questions. Reach out anytime. This sounds like the end of a Zoom call and not a YouTube video, but that's just the space I live in. So, okay, microphone, please stay. Talk to you later, I guess. See you on the flip side. Bye.